Welcome to Why Such a Fuss, an exciting new channel dedicated to help individuals and businesses to learn more about data protection in a way that is easy and engaging. I'm Christina from CVG Solutions, and I am a fully qualified data protection professional. I am passionate about educating, empowering, and enabling businesses to thrive. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel and help us to spread the word. Data protection is there for a reason. It protects you, your family, loved ones, customers, employees from coming to harm through the use of personal data. So make sure you click subscribe. Now, get ready to embark on a journey of growth and knowledge as we dive into the world of data protection. So I'm Christina from CVG Solutions, and I am a multi-award winning GDPR or data protection, whichever you prefer, professional. And I work primarily with small and medium-sized businesses. I really like to see them thrive, and so I tend to gravitate towards them. I have a hands-on, practical and proportionate approach to my clients, which is based on their size and complexity. And I also use proven methodologies and best practices that I have acquired during my 25 years careers working in some of the largest corporations on the planet. I help my clients by educating them on this big subject that is GDPR. There is still a lot of misconception and misunderstanding about it. And obviously education that empowers them to make informative decisions. As they say, knowledge is power. In turn, this enables them to operate with a high-performing culture which fuels their business growth. So it's all about educating, empowering, and enabling. Julie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Julie from BU Consultancy and Coaching. And like Christina, I truly believe in empowering people. So I have a portfolio business where I have a HR consultancy, and that's providing ad hoc or regular support to customers, small, medium-sized businesses. But also I'm a confidence and leadership coach. So for me, again, it's really about that empowering, sharing the knowledge, talking things through, and looking for the right solution for the customer. I think that's the most important thing. And that's why I really enjoy these sessions where we've got that blend of HR and GDPR in the room. So, Christina, what kind of things do we need to think of? And what are subject access requests?
Okay, so SAR, which is SAR, which is short for subject access request. So it's when an individual, which could be your employee, it could be a customer, or even a supplier, ask for copies of their data. So that's roughly what that is. But they tend to come when you least expect it. So as an organization, you need to ensure that you have a robust process in place to deal with them in a way that is effective and efficient. You only have 1 month to turn it around, which you might think, we've got plenty of time. Actually, when you look closely at it, it isn't. So it's really important that your staff is trained on how to deal with subject access requests, how to recognize them, how to, to whom do they need to escalate to, etc. You want to look at your data flow, you map your data flow in your system, because data could be in more than one system, and you got to retrieve all of that. Because a SAR is not just about digging out, if you want, the emails that the requester has created to colleagues or to customers, but also emails from other colleagues, so between them, that talked about, expressed an opinion about the requester. So because it's about them, it's about the requester, then it's in scope. Is looking at documents that might have the name or initial of the requester. As I said, opinion that has been expressed in disciplinary, in grievances, in performance review, all of that is in scope. Don't forget chats you might have in Teams or WhatsApp or other systems. All of that, it's in scope. If it's about them, it's in scope. If it's got their name, their initial, etc. Biometric data such as photos, fingerprints, CCTV footage. So all of that, it's in scope. But as an organization under the GDPR, you also have the obligation to protect others from being revealed, from sharing that. So you've got to then redact all of the data. And it's not just about redacting their names or their initial or their email address. It's about removing opinion or comments that are about other people that are not the requester. It's also redacting CCTV footage or photos. If you have a photo that has more than one person, the requester plus other people, then the other people need to be redacted. Potentially even voice recording needs to be redacted. So do you have the right system that allows you to do that? And do you have the right processes? Have your people been trained on how to deal with that so that you can complete your turnaround within the 1 month deadline?
I think there's some really valid points there. And I certainly know when they introduced subject access requests, they attached a fee to the request of the information because everyone was so concerned that as soon as they allow people to access the data, there would be a flood of requests. Thankfully, certainly in the organisation I worked in, there wasn't. But it was thought that there really would be. But I think there's one obvious tell for me about the data culture within organisations is when you say you've had a subject access request, how grey or pale or sweaty do the people go when you tell them? Because if they do, you can guarantee there's something there that shouldn't be there.
Yes. Yeah. So, and if we think of the instance that we had with Nigel Farage, he wanted to open a bank account with Kurt, then he submitted a subject access request and it was revealed it was a communication between two colleagues within the bank. They sort of basically said, we're not going to accept his submission because of his political views. So that was exposed because of the subject access, because their comment was about him. So be careful what you write, I suppose, as well.
Because we don't want to terrify, but it's that education piece, isn't it? And I think when we think about instant messaging and WhatsApp, and I think generally social media, people are very, very quick to give their opinions without necessarily thinking things through. So where do we stand on instant messages, WhatsApp, where people are using? And I think there's those two parts, isn't there? Whether it's business or personal devices.
Yes. I mean, I would say, as an organization, choose a system, whatever that is, whether it's Team, whether it's WhatsApp or whatever, and stick with that. But also make sure that the business data, the personal data is kept in separate accounts. So, because obviously the data in terms of messaging, that it's on the business account will be in scope for a SAR, while personal will not. So you want to keep that separate, because it will then also make your life easier when it comes to dealing with the SAR and redacting. Now, WhatsApp seems to be very popular for instant messages, and is also used for sharing documents, images, video, etc. While this particular app is end-to-end encrypted, so it's still relatively safe to do that. But you've got to remember that the backup is not encrypted. So you've got to encrypt it because it's not done automatically. So that means that you're still vulnerable. With Teams, because it's part of your Microsoft 365 infrastructure, so long as you've got the backup, which Microsoft doesn't provide, by the way, so speak to your IT provider, then those chats, those messages are backed up. So it's okay, but you need to check with your IT provider. Now, there is always the other thing that needs to be considered is many businesses allow the use of the best personal devices without putting in place a correct or appropriate control mechanism to control and contain the risk. So make sure that you have proper policies and procedures in place with regards to bring your own device. If it's a work WhatsApp group that is being created, who is authorized to be a member of that group? If someone else, say at a later stage, needs to be added to that group, what is the approval and authorization process or procedures for that? If a member of the group leaves, do you have, as part of your leaving procedures, the removal of this individual from that WhatsApp group or Teams group or whatever it is? I mean, this really happened last year, where NHS had a data breach because during COVID they had created a WhatsApp group for communicating while during those trying times, and the members of the group then they carried on using it after COVID, and then someone else was added to the group, and this individual was not authorized to actually have access to the medical information that was being shared in this group. And so this is one of the many of the NHS data breaches last year. But think of the fact that this breaks trust with your customers or patients, if you're patient, employees as well. So think of that. So make sure that you have those robust processes. But also, when things like this happens, it makes you wonder what else is exposed, what else are you not protecting? What is your data culture as an organization? Do you care about your data, or do you, or you don't? Bear in mind that GDPR or data protection is about protecting people from coming to harm through the use of their personal data. So data quality, data protection is really, really important for any organization of any industry. And data is not just email and phone numbers. It's a lot more. And that's why that ROPA that I mentioned earlier, that data inventory and the data flow map really, really help you to really understand what data you are collecting, how you're using it, who you're sharing it with, what system is it in, so how you have that holistic overview of your organization, which will then also allows you to improve. And that leads to good quality data. I just wanted to remind our audience to please click the follow button to avoid missing any future episodes. If you would like to get in touch with me, I can be found on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for CVG Solutions. Alternatively, you can email me at info@cvgsolutions.co.uk.